Hello, First United Methodist Church of Olympia. This is Angelina Goldwell, and I'm here with Heather, Batseva, and Jay from Jojos Sanctuary. We were able to do a video update with them about a year ago about the important work that they're doing in Thailand, and because the world is the way it is, we are doing another video interview. So we are so excited about all of the amazing work that you all have been able to do in these, like, just in general, but also in these particularly trying circumstances of the past year and a half. And so we are so excited to hear about everything that that you all have been up to and the ways you've been adapting and rising to the variety of challenges that you've encountered. So I'm going to turn it over to all y'all to tell us more about it.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Heather, and my grandma actually goes to your church, so that's how I know you guys. These are my teammates. This is Bootsaba over here, and Jay, and we're currently in the midst of another COVID outbreak, so they're still wearing masks. We're all in lockdown at home, so we all just came together for this morning to do a little update for you guys. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the a PowerPoint presentation that I have. So let me just share that really quick so you can see it. Okay, is that working?
Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so Jojos Sanctuary is the name of our organization, and we work in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we focus on education, protection, and empowerment. And the last year and a half has been we've come in and out of COVID, so we've sometimes been able to be normal, do normal activities, and sometimes have been on lockdown. So I have some pictures of the times that we were able to actually live life normally. So this is our team without masks at our Christmas party last year. We founded Jojos Sanctuary back in 2016, and so it's been 5 years. Actually, this month, we founded it in May of 2016, so it's our anniversary this month. And we are named after Jojo, who was a little boy we knew who actually died as a victim of child abuse. And so when we first started out, we wanted to protect kids from having to go through child abuse and stuff. So we decided that we wanted to honor his memory by naming our program after him, as we worked with other vulnerable children. And these are some of the activities we do for child protection trainings. We worked with a seminary this year, training the students there that were going to graduate in how to run the child protection trainings themselves, because they're all going to go out in their communities and to churches and stuff. So we wanted them to have the knowledge and the ability to share with other kids and help protect them from vulnerabilities that they might experience. A lot of the students are going back to do work in the villages, so there's definitely higher vulnerabilities there. And we also teach parents childcare with Love and Logic. We do those trainings when people invite us to for different organizations in different communities. And we teach about safe and unsafe touch, healthy relationships, internet safety, and also reproductive health and children's human rights, which is on there at this time. We also have sponsored a lot of scholarships for students. So we buy uniforms because they're pretty expensive. When you have to go up to middle school or up to high school, everyone has to get a full new set of uniforms. And if people have more than one kid, that gets to be pretty expensive. And so a lot of kids end up dropping out of school after 6th grade because of that. So we want to make sure kids can study as far as possible. And we also sponsor university tuition for students who don't have their Thai citizenship yet because they're not eligible for scholarships or loans. So we help them complete that education. So this year we got to go to a few graduations for 9th grade, 12th grade, and one college graduation. So that was pretty exciting to see the kids developing and continuing their studies. We also had we do short-term foster care for kids who are in crisis or who are transitioning. So we had 4 students last year, 4 foster kids last year. I had 2, and Butsaban Jay had 2 at a time, and then they got 1 more for just a month, the last month of school. So the 2 that I had, we were in an orphanage, and then they wanted them to transition to live with family, and so they stayed with me during the transition time as their older siblings were preparing to take them in, so they had to move and get all their houses set up and stuff. So that was good. Now they've both moved in with their older sisters, and they're both doing really well. And Butsaban Jay had two girls that were siblings, and they were transitioned from an orphanage into a long-term foster home, and they're also doing really well now. And then just for the last month of school, the little boy in the upper left corner, his parents moved to the other side of the city, and so he was going to have to not finish second grade because they don't let you transfer schools mid-year. So he was going to have to repeat the whole year, and we knew his family. So they said, could he just stay with you guys and he can finish this last month of school so he can go up. So that was just a little short-term foster care we did for them. Now he's back with his family for the summer. We're in summer right now. School will start up again in June. So. We also work with, we collaborate with a lot of organizations, including the government orphanage, partner organizations that do food pantry deliveries, and we help in foster care awareness raising in the Thai community and also with foreigners. So we did just a couple months ago, we did a foster care awareness seminar for foreigners interested in providing foster care, and the government orphanage is going to start placing kids who are eligible for international adoption with foreigners so that they can adapt to like a foreign style of life instead of a Thai style of life. But kids who will either return to their families or stay with Thai or go into a Thai adoptive families, they get placed with Thai foster families. We also work a lot on citizenship. It's very complicated here to get your citizenship if you were born in the country and not in a hospital. So a lot of parents don't know how to navigate the system, or the parents were not born in Thailand, but their kids were. So we help kids, we help families navigate that process. There's a lot of extortion where village leaders will try to get thousands of dollars from the parents to do their citizenship paperwork, but it's a free process, so they shouldn't be having to pay anything. So we help out a lot of families. So this year so far, we've completed 5 cases, and we have another 5, but they're on hold now since we've got the pandemic. These cases happen all over the northern part of the country, so we often have to travel 5 or 6 hours each direction, leaving at like 4 in the morning and spend the whole day at the office, and they do interviews and they do, you know, DNA tests and all these different things. So that's a pretty big important part of the work that we do to help provide a more stable future for kids so that they can get their citizenship and be full members of the society. And our biggest project is our Building Family Dreams program, which is we work with 7 or 8 families at a time, and it's an 18-month program, and we do a monthly workshop together, or we go on field trips together. And the goal is to help families reintegrate kids that have been in orphanages back into their family unit, or to prevent really vulnerable families from being separated due to poverty. So we have an income generating project that we do with them. So they each get $500 worth of supplies to start, whether it's like a sewing business or selling waffles or a coffee shop, that kind of stuff. We can get all the supplies for them so that they can launch their own little business and increase their wages so they can afford to care for their kids and their family. And we alternate workshops with field trips to different parts of the country. In Thailand, like the concept of quality time isn't really understood. And so most of the time people just like work and eat and then sleep. They don't really spend time with their kids. So when we take them to places like waterfalls and museums and stuff, it's a way for them to expand their knowledge and just spend some good time with their kids that's not just focused on like working and eating. So we've got 7 families in the program this year, and they're all single moms or single older siblings caring for younger siblings. And so we've stayed in touch with them throughout the pandemic. We had to start the program later because of our lockdowns here. And this month and last month, we had to suspend our meetings because of the current lockdowns. But we've been able to help them. Last year, we helped with food subsidies, and this year we've helped pay rent for a lot of the families, because that's like the one thing that no one's getting assistance with is paying for rent. But there's lots of organizations doing food deliveries. So we just talked to them. We're like, "What do you need?" They were like, "We need rent." So that's how we've been helping them this month. And we just stay in touch. We have a lot, like a social media group that we can all connect with, and we call them, you know, about once a week. And if they need anything, you know, delivered, we can do that as well. So it's been pretty good. It's been an unusual experience having this program during this pandemic, but I think it's been good because I think a lot of the families would have ended up having to send their kids back to orphanages without the program and without this additional support that we've been providing. So Here you can see the ways we've used the family strengthening income generating money. So on the upper left, this mom, she's taking care of her younger sister as well as the baby. And so she got a sewing machine and a serger so she can work from home. The center picture is a mom who's starting a baking business out of her home. So she got all the baking supplies and an oven and all that stuff. The upper right is one of the girls who went back to live with her older sister, and they moved into a completely empty house. So they used the money to kind of furnish the house for things that they needed with, bed and washing machine and kitchen supplies, that stuff. And the lower left is a woman who started a stand that sells waffles at the market. And the lower right, the woman started a coffee stand in front of, like across the street from her house in front of a restaurant that was already there. So she's able to get the extra business from the restaurant. So that's been exciting to kind of see, even in these trying times, how people are, making a living and being able to improve their quality of life through this program. In the future, we're currently working with an organization called Hope Effect in Colorado, and they are trying to connect us with some funding so that we can hire a full-time counselor. And also they are trying to find funding so we can hire somebody to work specifically on recruiting foster families to care for older kids. Here, they don't put kids over age 12 into foster care. They just have to stay in the orphanage. So we're like, well, I think that there's probably families that could take older kids. So we're trying to develop that aspect of foster care more. And we also want to expand our family program into other communities with people who've graduated already running it. So we're going to hopefully be able to hire another staff to take on those two roles. And then in the future, we'd really love to be able to connect rural students who live in the villages with educational opportunities in the city, because most villages schools go through just 6th grade or 9th grade. And then if they want to continue going to school, they either need to move to the city or they basically just don't get an option. But there's a lot of opportunity for them to get scholarships to go to school, to go to high school, but they just don't know how to access them. And we also are trying to build more, create more days for girls' kids with the women that we've worked with who we've already bought sewing machines for. So we're working on trying to expand that program. It's been difficult these days with the lockdowns. We can't really go visit them and work to like make a plan for creating them and distributing them. So probably have to put that on hold for a couple months. So yeah, that's a pretty much overview of what we've done, what we've been doing. We've been working out in the communities and expanded our scholarship program. We're going to have 25 students this year that are getting uniforms or tuition. And yeah, so we're looking forward to working with Hope Effect and hope to grow our team this year and be able to provide counseling for the families in our program and other low-income families who've experienced trauma in the community. So thank you guys for your support and the opportunity to share about our work with you.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for MJ and Busba for taking the time to talk to us. I guess the only other question I really have for you all is how y'all doing personally in the past year and a half? How are you taking care of yourselves as you take care of so many other people?
เราดูแลด้วยเองยังไงบ้างปีที่แล้วเวลาเราดูแลคนอื่นคิดยังไง We're pretty good. These two have each other because they're married, so they're together all the time. And I think for them it's been harder because their families are really far away, and so with the lockdowns, like they weren't able to visit their families for a long time, and just like have to connect through like Facebook or just on the phone a lot. I've been staying in touch with people in the States through, Zoom and Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. Sometimes it gets kind of lonely being stuck in the house, but for the most of the year we had foster kids, so that helps be a little less lonely. Yeah, the foster care has been really good. That has its ups and downs, of course, as anyone who's a foster parent can attest to, or adoptive, or any parent, I guess. But yeah, we have some good counseling outlets here as well, and pretty good support system. For me, I have like support from Thai friends as well as foreigner friends that I can get advice from. And มีอะไรอีกที่จะบอกไหม
ก็ดูแลก็ผ่านเขาเวลาแบบ เราช่วยคนอื่นเขามีความสุขแล้วก็เองก็มีความสุขไปแล้วแบบ
Buzima said helping other people like gives them joy in life, and so it doesn't for her it doesn't feel draining or exhausting helping other people. She feels like a real sense of purpose, and like that makes her happy to be able to help other people.
ว่าที่เราเพราะว่าเรามีเครือข่ายเยอะๆเราก็เลยรู้สึกว่าเราก็ไม่ได้หนักแล้วก็ไม่ได้เหนื่อยอะไรมากมายแต่ก็ขอบคุณพระเจ้าที่มีเครือข่ายเยอะๆที่ทำให้เรามีเพื่อนใช่ไหมมีเครือข่ายที่
So David says he doesn't feel like it's a lot of work because we have support from other, and we work with so many other organizations, and then we're able to get so much stuff like as people move away, move back to overseas or whatever, like we end up getting a lot of free stuff, furniture and clothes and stuff like that, so we're able to help other people so much. So he's like, it doesn't feel like a lot of work because we're able to utilize, like he said, we're so thankful to God for all the connections that we have because it helps us improve other people's lives, and it's not like a huge burden for us.
ก็ขอบคุณที่มีโบสถ์หลายๆโบสถ์ที่ช่วยเราด้วยใช่ไหมแล้วก็ขอบคุณพระเจ้าที่พระเจ้าปกป้องเราแล้วก็นำเราทุกๆวัน
And he said he also feels like really grateful, thankful to God because there are so many churches that we know that support us financially and that also pray for us, and so he said he just feels like God used that and that he feels like protected and that we have like this prayer support that comes from not just Thailand but around the world as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to share with us, and thank you for having all of your information up on the screen so folks can connect with you and follow all the work you're doing. And just to echo what Jay said, we are praying for you, and we give thanks to God for all of the amazing work that you all are doing to take care of children and families in northern Thailand. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thanks for having us.